Yo guys, what's going on? It's Rose here, bringing you guys the Week 3 team builder for our game against Galfano and his twin shot. I am very excited for this game. He has a very scary team, and honestly, I don't love the matchup, but we're going to do as good of a job as we possibly can. We are off a nice little win last week over Muffins and his Muffins Mudkips, so let's hope that we can get a nice 3-0 streak going. First up, we are gonna get right into this matchup. We have, of course, if you guys have been following along with our season, you guys know that we have Iron Boulder, Cinderace, Zarude, Ursaluna Blood Moon, Latios, Diancie, Fortress, Aquatoros, Terra Drifblim, Swalot, and Pincurchin. Whereas Galfano has Sneasler, Corviknight, T-Tar, Terra Excadrill, Sylveon, Terra Chandelure, Thwackey, Alomomola, Kyurem, Alolan Raichu, and Charjabug. A very scary team. A lot of very hard, just strong hitters on this team. Scarf, Terra Grass, Chandelure kind of rips me a new one, and depending on the spread that he brings for his Excadrill, this thing could absolutely tear me to shreds. Got a lot of big threats on this team, and I'm going to just let the team speak for itself this week. First up, we have Chipotle, our Iron Boulder, with the Terra Ghost this week. Mighty Cleave, Close Combat, Psycho Cut, and Sword Stance with 32 HP, 252 attack, 224 speed, and a Jolly Nature. With this, we are outspeeding, I believe it is everything on his team, Sneasler and below. Of course, we cannot outspeed Excadrill in Sand, even with booster speed. But if we can get rid of that potentially, or get rid of Sand, and we can down the Corviknight, which we have something later that we're going to be using to do that. +2 Iron Boulder rips his team a new one, and absolutely is hard for him to switch into. Next up, we're bringing IHOP the Cinderace, U-Turn, Power Ball, Electro Ball, and High Jump Kick with 72 HP, 252 attack, 184 speed, and a Jolly Nature. This is, I believe, this outspeeds the Alolan Raichu and below. And with this, obviously the Electro Ball is for the Alomomola. It does about 40-ish% to Fizz Def, which is amazing. Otherwise, we can't really touch it with this thing, so it's definitely something that we're going to want to take advantage of, even despite the Jolly Nature. The calc didn't really change too much, so it just didn't make sense to me to, to do that. Otherwise, Pyro Ball, it's going to chunk that Corviknight. It's going to chunk most of his team outside of a potential Flash Fire Chandelure, although I can see him being Infiltrator this week just because of like screens and substitute potential, because I've been bringing substitute Tauros a lot, and I think that's something that he could take advantage of this week. Next up, we are bringing Hardy's, our Ursaluna Blood Moon, with the Chople Berry, Blood Moon, Earth Power, Vacuum Wave, and Smackdown, 128 HP, 252 special attack, 4 special defense, and 124 speed, Modest Nature. With this speed, we are outpacing a no-speed Corviknight to get the Smackdown off and force him to either switch or let it die to the ensuing Earth Power. The Chople Berry allows us to take roughly half from the Sneasler's Close Combat. Otherwise, Blood Moon plus Earth Power is very, very free into his team and can definitely do a ton of damage this week. I considered Gunk Shot on this because of the Sylveon, but it doesn't really do any more damage than Blood Moon would, so it just, to me, it didn't seem worth it. Next up, we are having our dedicated lead, I think. Spikes, Volt Switch, Body Press, and Rapid Spin is on Cinnabon the Fortress this week with the leftovers. 248 HP, 8 attack, and 252 defense with an Impish Nature. Yeah, pretty standard Fortress set this week. Spikes are very good into my opponent's team for basically everything outside of Corviknight, because he doesn't really have any immunities to it, and not a lot of great, removal option, because outside of Corviknight, which I can easily, get out on, his removal is Komala, so I'm not really worried about it too much. Plus me being underspeeding the Corviknight, I'll always get a spike up against it, so yeah, this thing, honestly, it's probably my dedicated lead. Volt Switch and Body Press covers a lot of this team for either some decent damage or just pivoting out, but it's not really meant to do any damage. This is meant to set up spikes and just kind of, Volt Switch around and give me some pivoting. And getting rid of potential hazard setup that he has with like the T-Tar or the Excadrill, for example. Next up, we're bringing Tauros Outback this week with Intimidate leftovers. We have Raging Bull, Close Combat, Bulk Up, and Substitute, 248 HP, 44 Attack, 216 Speed, and a Jolly Nature. With this speed, we outspeed the Kyurem guaranteed. And honestly, I didn't really need I didn't need anything super creative this week. I considered Trailblaze on this, but I just couldn't fit it. If I have 5 moves, then Trailblaze would be the 5th move, because then I could Trailblaze and be faster than a potential Scarf Chandelure. And honestly, that would be perfect. But you know, we don't always get what we want. 5 moves isn't always what's going to happen. So I don't really have a whole lot of attack, because honestly, I don't really need it, because on the things that I get good rolls on, I get good rolls on no matter what my investment is, and the ones that I don't, I don't anyway. So for me, the attack does not matter this week. I'd much rather just be as bulky as possible to take hits from like the Sneasler or the Excadrill, if need be. But yeah, Raging Bull Close Combat is coverage for basically the entire team. And the only thing that can really counter this is Scarf Terragrass Chandelure with Infiltrator. That is the only thing that counters this. Obviously the Alolan Raichu, but I don't see that coming, honestly. I think we have a pretty good matchup into it, so I don't see him bringing that. And then last but not least, I need a Sneasler answer, and this is that. We are bringing Drifblim, Taco Bell the Drifblim this week with Aftermath and the Covert Cloak, with the Terra Water this week, just because I didn't really want to be, I couldn't find a good Terra type this week. And I don't know. It was one of those things where I didn't want to be Ghost or Flying and kind of be forced into being weak to like Knockoff or something, or the Chandelure's Shadow Balls. So Water just kind of seems like the best middle ground this week. Hex, Nightshade, Strength 7, Will-O-Wisp. Realistically, Hex, Strength 7, and Will-O-Wisp are the 3 moves that are important this week. Nightshade is really just so I don't get walled by like T-Tar. And with 248 HP, 216 defense, 44 speed, and a timid nature, I believe we are outspeeding a no-speed Thwackey, if I'm remembering correctly. I forget exactly what this speed is for off the top of my head. Or I think it's for no-speed Kyurem, I think is what it's for. Just in case he wants to bring like a bulky like setup set. But yeah, this is my dedicated Sneasler check, because outside of this team, this is my best check on the team for Sneasler. So let's hope that we can easily, take advantage of it with this thing. Otherwise, Wisp is very hard for my opponent to deal with, and Willow Hex is a very, very strong combination into his team. But yeah, guys, that is going to do it for this team builder, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for the game. Peace out.